If you're an e-commerce store owner or you sell physical products online, there is a 99% chance that you're doing it wrong. And I only say that because I literally see this everywhere, and it's probably a result of a lot of these repurposed e-commerce courses out there that are telling you how to really do kind of this direct response advertising to really get impulse buys based on the product's use or your product's use and kind of the problem that it solves in video format. And so everyone is just running a ton of these direct response style kind of problem solution advertisements for their audience, which can work. There's no doubt that you can make sales that way, but a lot of the time the problem is having a back end and getting repeat sales and building a relationship with your customers. And you see that it might work for a while, but once you run out of that audience, you might see a decline in sales. And that's why so many of these proclaimed gurus out there talk about how to consistently create new videos and starting to see fatigue in ads because the people that see it, they're not buying anymore. And there's a lot of other things behind it as well. But I want to talk about today is, again, what I see a majority of e-commerce store owners doing and focusing so much more on their product than this. And I want to talk about it here in a second, but we're not going over to the computer. We've actually got something special. I want to jump over to the whiteboard today and kind of write this out for you so you can see it, because I can promise you, if you'll start doing this one thing, which a majority of your competition is most likely not doing, you're going to see not only a dramatic increase in sales, but also customer retention and just the lifetime of your business. If you've been at this for any time at all and you've been using a lot of these other strategies, you've probably seen that your store is not going to last very long unless you start changing things up. So I want to jump over to the whiteboard and show you what you can start doing to see a dramatic increase in not only sales, customer retention, but just loyalty from your customer base. So when we're talking about the 99% of e-commerce sellers out there and what they're doing wrong, we can see that a majority of them are, whether it's running direct response or whether it's pushing out a little bit of content, that a majority are focused on the product alone, or they're focused on the features of the product, or maybe the solution that that product solves, which, and sometimes when you're maybe retargeting or doing something else, that's okay. But when you're focusing this on as your primary strategy, is you're thinking that this is really going to connect with your market, that's where you're wrong. And the problem with that is that you're going to see, and you might already be seeing, a lack of customer retention. Maybe you get a lot of impulse buys because you're doing the direct response advertising, right? But you're seeing a lack of retention of that lifetime customer value, that customer coming back, right? Because there's no relationship, right? You're not building a relationship with your customer through using these methods. And this can really hurt a store. If this is the only thing that you're doing, your brand or your store is really going to suffer. So I want to talk about what you need to be doing and how this is going to dramatically improve your brand and sales through your e-commerce store. Now, the biggest thing is that we want to start creating consistent content around being able to focus on our community. So who are the people that we're serving? One of the examples of this is I saw a little niche product on Amazon. It was actually these washable makeup remover pads. And when I went through and I looked at the review, probably 80 to 90% of these customers were purchasing these reusable pads because they were tired of throwing things away. They hate how it hurt the environment and that they weren't being good stewards. And so a majority of these customers wanted to help the environment. They wanted to be good stewards of the environment and do things that did that improved it. And so when you could look at that, you can say, we want to focus on our community that's passionate about being able to help the environment. And that kind of brings us to our second point, which is talk about the topics that they care about. So if we look at that specifically, we can say, if our community loves to be able to focus on the environment and give back and make sure that our planet is a great, safe place to be able to live, how can we talk about the topics that they care about? Maybe you can go out and research other blogs and things that are talking about that same topics related to the environment and being able to help it, so that way you can be able to start being able to build that relationship with them through consistent content. We can talk about what are the conversations that they're having. So let's say you've got 8 people in your community and they go out to dinner. What are going to be the conversations that they have if that is what they're really passionate about? How can you join in on that conversation and start producing kind of top of the level content that you can use to, whether that's put out on your blog and distribute that to your email list, or being able to create kind of hero topics about that and push those articles out and advertise it on Facebook and Instagram, so that way you can start attracting new people to your brand that are in that market. That's going to be your top of funnel strategy. That's how you're going to start really building that engagement and that relationship with your ideal customer base. The other one is, what are the problems that they're facing? Obviously, that was one of the problems. They were tired of throwing the disposable ones away in the trash, and that product helped solve that. So while we might be talking about the solution of a single product, and of course this isn't a bad thing, but if this is the only thing that you're doing is just focusing on the solution of that one product, we want to start looking at what are the other problems that our market, our community is having problems with. Because if we understand that our customer base loves being able to help the environment through the products that they're purchasing, that they're using on themselves, this is going to help lead to not only a way of being able to connect and build that relationship, this is going to help be able to lead to new products. This is going to create new ideas, because that's going to give you the ability to continue to serve them and help them in what they're wanting to do, what they're talking about, the conversations that they're having. And just like you would build a relationship in real life, this is going to allow you to start building a relationship with your consumer, with your community, by starting to join in on that conversation, by being able to relate to them on the problems that they're having, talking to them about the topics that they're on. Of course, the other part of building that relationship is just the consistency. So I always recommend writing out a list of things that are, whether it's the topics, the conversations, or the problem that your community is facing. Start writing out a list, do some research, and figure out what are the other things that you can start creating content around, whether that's talking to similar people that are authorities in the space, or just finding things and creating your own content to be able to serve them. And being able to do that consistently is going to help be able to build the trust. It's going to help build the relationship as you're consistent with that content distribution. It's going to help be able to increase repeat purchasers and increase that lifetime customer value, while also being able to get a higher engagement rate and being able to also position yourself as an authority inside of your market or your community. Guys, this is the biggest thing, and it's, we're always looking for that quick sale. I don't blame you. We're looking for the quick thing to be able to scale our store, but really, just like building a relationship, this is a long-term game. And if you want to have a successful store, whether you're looking to sell that or just have a brand that is kind of a cash flow asset for you, you're only going to get there by building that relationship with your customer. And this is going to help you if you focus on this and start applying this. So I hope this was some helpful content, some useful information that you can start putting into place, and I really hope you do. So get out there. I hope you use your physical product brand to make an impact and a difference in your customer's life.